Alright, dickheads, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap, right? What is artwod? The best platform in the world to teach you how to draw from imagination. They give you the work, not the shortcut work that lets you draw like this from imagination after 3 years and 7 months of practice, right? Not this exact drawing, but you know, the skill involved in making things look believable, right? Three-dimensional. So yeah, do their fucking artwad program. Yes, I'm a shill, not a dick writer. Fuck, I'm a shill and a dick writer, but not affiliated, right? Anyways, who am I? I'm Biggie. You already know how Jesus Christ, you already know how long I've been drawing for, right? This channel is a repository of my practice, right? To prove it's literally a living documentary of skill acquisition over the next 40 years to prove that anybody can draw and that every single one of you is capable of achieving this level of skill, if not 100 times beyond, because this is nothing special. It's just reflective of the work that I put in, work that you are 100% capable of doing. So with that being said, get your pen, get your paper, draw along. Let's put a fuck ton of effort in, because that's the only thing we can control, and something, again, that you are 100% capable of controlling, right? So yeah, what are we doing? We're doing the Artwad Portrait Roadmap, and I'm looking at a portrait. I have a portrait reference on the left on my iPad, and I am visualizing a box over that portrait reference, right? And then the diagonal center lines on every single visible and invisible plane of that box, and then calculating slash visualizing the three center planes inside that box as per, like, you know, what's it called, affixed to those diagonals, right? The diagonal cross axes, or just the diagonal, yeah, center lines, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then I am going to visualize, to the best of my ability, the ellipses inside of it. Right now, my brain, my mental model, my schema, my calculation, my working memory is completely taxed because drawing, specifically spatial reasoning, but drawing in general, anything to do with learning a skill, is taxing your cognitive memory. It is a thinking skill. Drawing is thinking. I'm going to keep saying that. Drawing is thinking, right? So right now, my working memory is taxed just trying to see this fuckery. And I say just, but like it is this fuckery. Like everything that is, all these calculations that isn't the ellipses inside the center planes, right? Of in the X, Y, and Z axes, right? And projecting this, like calculating the sphere that is essentially encompassing the intersections of those ellipses, right? So that already is more than enough. And then I also have to fucking draw the face inside of it, like as per the reference, which is extremely difficult, right? So yeah, anyways, get your pen, get your paper, draw along, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so I've already started drawing in my mind, right? I've already started drawing in my mind, and I'm using line of action. I think I should link it in the description as well, right? Line of action. I'm using the portrait section, right, where like they time you for portrait. I just paused it so I can just siphon through. Siphon, is that a word? Siphon, right? Siphon. Fuck, I don't know what that word is, but anyways, so I can go through the the different images without being at a time pressure, because it is supposed to be something that's timed. But either way, let's see. I'm already starting to think about the box, and I'm trying to see through the box, and I'm trying to see the correct angle of the box. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is a downward perspective, right? A downward perspective, and by downward I mean fuck. Oh, okay, I guess I can draw here. This is what the angle looks like to me, roughly, right? It's like this is what I'm presuming it is currently, and this is actually a very subtle angle. Now that I look at it, this is a very subtle angle. That's actually already wrong. So this is wrong. Ignore that. It's more like this, right? And that's why I like looking at the reference is great, because it will teach me to visualize and to apply. And I'm just thinking right now, but it'll teach me to visualize and apply while looking at the reference. It'll teach me to get the correct spatial reasoning, essentially, right? Or more correct spatial reasoning. But again, you can see I make the front planes way too narrow. Yes, foreshortening exists. Yes, that is happening, but I need to be able to understand how that is happening, right? So that's the biggest thing right now, is just first I need to get the correct perspective down, right? So I'm just continuing to look at the reference right now, and I'm trying to visualize the box, right? And I love this. I love how subtle this box is, right? Like it's really very subtle. And I'm just trying to visualize the seen through part of the form, right? Really trying to get this down. And I do believe this, like obviously the face is converging, like all the planes are converging towards their own particular vanishing point, but, and I'm already like in a sort of state of mind where I'm really trying to exhaust my brain, right? And I'm genuinely trying to see this properly, and I think I'm getting better. I think I am seeing this decently well, right? hopefully you can tell I'm also ghosting a lot slower, because that is what is, and or I'm trying to, what I'm ghosting right here is the seen through side, because I actually want to start thinking about these planes from their seen through side, right? The side, by the invisible side, the planes that we don't see but do exist, because this is geometric volume and this is a form that does have an opposite side to it. This is what artwod teaches as well, even with an organic form. If let's say you draw, this is like literally one of their practices, right, where they'll be like, okay, do this, and now draw the contours, right? Draw the contours. So you understand that this is a volume that exists in space, that has a side that you cannot see, and that the silhouette is simply a reflection of what we can see, right? But this is literally geometric volume, and the same thing with this, where it's like, okay, well, how's this looking on that, on opposite side, right? Like, what is it looking like? Obviously, I should have made this more dotted than the other side, but, and again, I actually am not good, or I'm not skilled, I don't have the skill currently to see geometric volume. So what I'm doing here is 100% more wrong. But you see, like, this is basically what you're taught, is to see through forms. You know, I simply have not been doing it to a scale of this extent with the box of this size, right? Like, to see through the form. So this is something that's a skill that I'm essentially not rebuilding, but I'm refining, much, like, very much so I'm refining from not scratch, but yeah, like I'm extremely subpar at this. So this is something I'm constantly focusing on, and now I'm again looking back at the reference, and I'm starting to feel that discomfort in my stomach, which is good, because my brain is trying to understand how do you understand this, right? Like, what is going on? And it's not seeing the angle of the box correctly. Again, it's very subtle. My brain loves subtlety, because subtlety is what it's been used to. And by subtlety, I guess not subtlety, it's used to very, very subtle tilt. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, it's used to not being tilted and angled in a direction that's like this, essentially, right? Like, this is a pretty drastic tilt compared to what my brain's been used to, right? And here's where I need to think, like, what is the box, right? Like, what is the box? Because I do want, and again, I think I made this too large, but I do want it to seem relatively consistent, right? Because if the sphere ends right around here, then this guy's face is something like this, right? This is where it's like, right? And then we obviously have the jaw that comes out, right? Whatever, I don't know, I don't think that's accurate, because obviously you don't understand the jaw portion, the shape of the jaw for the Loomis head yet, because I'm not there yet, right? I simply do not understand, because I have not internalized it over hundreds and thousands of repetitions, right? Intentional repetitions. So I think that is more accurate, but I'm pretty sure it's still way more subtle. So here I'm just gonna be experimenting, just trying to think out loud, right? But I'm pretty sure it's the box is even smaller, or like the front plane. Sorry, I'm pretty sure the front plane's even narrower, right? But I have to project the box accurately onto the portrait reference in of itself, because if this is where his face is, right, I have to be able to see the line, to see the end of this invisible box in the reference itself. And I'm feeling so uncomfortable trying to think about that right now. I'm feeling so uncomfortable trying to think about that right now, and yet I have to lean into it and be like, okay, no, well, we're here, so you must think about it, right? So I'm just trying to see the other side as well, right? Trying to see the other side of the box. And this is where my brain is genuinely, and I mean genuinely, very taxed right now, because it is having a lot of trouble understanding. It is having a lot of trouble understanding the invisible side, especially. I'm trying to really visualize the invisible side, right? The invisible X, Y, Z, the one that you don't see. So I'm trying to visualize this, right? This, something like this, right? And then this is the visible side, which we see is something like this. There you go, see? And that's how the box is connecting, right? But visualizing that is extremely difficult, because again, this guy's face is not like this fucking thin. So I need to see a box. I need to see an appropriate box in perspective that does encompass this and does make sense, right? And again, my brain is actively fighting against the tilt as well. It is actively fighting against the tilt of the head, but that's something that's what I have to consistently force it to see, and I'm really feeling that uncomfortableness. But I think I just got it for a moment. I think I literally just got it for a moment, right? And I'm just gonna keep trying to visualize this. And yeah, that pit of discomfort, that extreme pit of discomfort in my stomach is back, but I'm really trying to visualize this plane, right? This again, the opposite x, y. Well, this was a fucking y. This is the z, and the x, right? And then this is the visible x, y, z, which is fuck, what is it? This. Fuck. See, like I can't even on a tiny scale I can't see it properly. But I'm gonna try to lead into it one more time before I rest my brain, right? But I did want to, because last video I wanted to talk about something, but I didn't get to talk about it because I just kept talking about what I'm doing right now, which is like, I'm trying to see this, I'm trying to see that. So let me try to discuss it, but let me at least say the first sentence, which is one frame, because everything I try to say is frames and mindsets and the ways to approach it, and like just for me personally, just like these are the things. And by the way, this drawing is an obstruction in the background, which I'm trying to ignore as well. But these things are what always help me, right? Like, and what they help me is just constantly keep playing the game, right? The point of the game is to keep playing. So they help me play the game, right? They help me understand where how I can play the game, essentially. Oh, I think I just understood this a little bit better, right? This x, right? The back x, and then this is the z, and this is the y. And now I need to hold that in my mind, to hold that while I see the front, yeah, there you go, the front x, right? The z, no, fucking the front y, the x, and then the z. I think I'm trying to hold it. I really can't see it that well, but just the idea is also very important, right? The idea is very important. And again, that's why like I'm doing it the harder way. Like I could just only visualize the front plane. Like I literally could just do something like this, where I'm like, oh yes, first I see this, right? And then I just, oh look, I'm finishing it. There you go, look, oh, okay, now I can see through the form, ta-da, I can do that. I could do that, but that is the easy way. And fuck the easy way, because the easy way does not give me as much of an understanding, right? The hard way, right, the way where I see through the form first, and I see the geometric volume as, like, on the invisible side, is what will build the ability, right? It will build the ability, because these are all abilities, these are skills that we're building, right? To draw it and to understand it the hard way. What the fuck am I saying? I'm thinking too hard right now. I'm thinking very hard. There's no such thing as thinking too hard. But again, my working memory is being very taxed trying to understand and visualize this, because for me right now, just seeing the box at this level, this proportion, this scale, this size, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is very difficult, right? Seen through specifically. It's already difficult to see the box, but now to see through the box at this level of scale, right? And I have to keep trying to remind myself what the perspective is, right? I have to keep trying to remind myself what that perspective is, especially the X, right? The X is much more like this. Yeah, it's like, it's tilted upwards. You know, this is the box. It's tilted, if we're going by the front plane, right? It's tilted much more upwards. And then this thing is like fucking, it's like it's very subtle, you know? When I say my brain's used to subtlety, I mean in terms of like, no drastic tilts, right? But there's a lot of subtlety, like this narrow bottom plane that my brain also struggles quite a bit with, right? So a huge part of this is also making sure that I place the box correctly when I look at the portrait reference, because I keep putting it at the eye line. Like I put the end of the box at the eye line when it should be roughly around the nose line, right? Like right below that, right? So, and I need to ignore the fact that this guy's face exists, and I need to understand how the box encompasses this face, which the top half of his face is the sphere. Like the face is encompassed inside the box, right? Again, like this is the box, like the face is encompassed something like this, right? It is much smaller, you know, it is inside, perfectly inside the box, you know, and then this is where like the fucking jaw comes out or whatever the fuck, right? Like this is how it comes out, but there's all this space that I need to understand exists, right? And that's also the very difficult part, is like trying to understand how the fuck this box looks properly, because again, I'm trying to draw an accurate box. And yeah, that pit of discomfort is there, it's very much there, but what I was trying to say, like, you must see reality clearly, right? We must see reality for what it is. And with that, I'm just gonna fucking cock tease myself and you, and we're gonna rest our brains. Yeah, how long has it been? Already fucking 15 minutes, and it's been very difficult. It's been very difficult, but I'm gonna keep leaning into this and keep trying to see through the form, because that's very important to me. And I probably won't get to say what I want to say properly. It'll be like in bits and pieces throughout the video, or throughout the practice, but I just need to really focus, as always, on just fucking really pushing my working memory and really, really, really leaning into that discomfort, which I have been doing. So let's rest our brains. Okay, cool. So let's just go back to just really fucking forcing myself and just leaning into the discomfort as always, right? And still trying to see the box accurately to the best of my ability, right? And this tilt isn't too bad. This tilt isn't too bad. So I'm pretty sure I can reason it decently well, right? And let's see. So I'm gonna just draw one line, right? But before I draw that line, I always say this, but like before I draw that line, I'm gonna try to visualize it. And that's funny, like I can literally visualize it now because I spent so much energy for the past 15 minutes trying to visualize it, and then I rested my brain. My brain learned the gap effect, it learned, and now it's slightly easier to visualize this, right? And by the way, like the learning actually happens when you sleep, but these micro gap effects essentially consolidate and expedite that learning process just by a little bit, because again, it is figuring it out. It is literally your brain is resting and it's replenishing its glycogen stores, right? Which is the energy that your brain uses that is accessed by the prefrontal cortex, which is what spatial reasoning is tied to, right? So let's see, I think that's a bit too drastic. I just did an angle that's a bit too drastic. It's more subtle. It's like this, right? Again, my brain thinks, oh, my brain is either like, oh, this is the angle or this is the angle. And I'll be like, shut up, dumbass. It's actually this is the angle, right? So you have to constantly remind yourself of that. You have to constantly remind yourself. And right now I keep losing the scene through form, and I'm forcing myself because right now with the bottom plane is something like this. It's jutting out like that, and then this part's jutting out like this. So I have to also really tell my brain that no, like, you're going this way. Like it's a convergence, right? And I have to keep that in mind as well. Like it is a narrow bottom plane, right? But again, and I just lost like the two visible and invisible XYZ axes, but I have to recalibrate, bring it back, right? And I'm really trying to see this as well as I can. Okay, just for a split second. Okay, I'm holding it for a split second, and it may not be correct, but I'm holding it, and now I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross axes on every single plane. Visible and invisible, right? There you go. Woof, okay. That was very difficult. That was very difficult, but just for a split second I held that and I still lost it. Like don't tell me, when I say I'm holding it, I mean I'm holding as much of that calculation, a semblance of that idea of that calculation, if that makes sense. Like I'm seeing it, yes, much more clearly, but I'm not like, it's not as if it's there, right? It's not as if it's just like a fucking like 100% fidelity projection from my mind or from my eye onto the page. It's like it's just more of a strong projection, visualization, calculation that is held consistently as a visualization and calculation without my brain immediately flickering it. Like it's held for like few seconds at a time, right? And I'm trying to do the same thing again right now. Let me look at the portrait reference again. Okay, so I'm trying to do the same thing again right now, right? And again, my brain is getting the angle wrong. It keeps making the front plane angle like this, right? That's wrong because it's like this, right? That this is much more accurate than this. But you see, these are the things your brain will constantly do. It will constantly be like, oh yeah, no, like this is totally what it is. And that's because your brain is used to that, right? Your brain is used to obviously the things that you have practiced, and it is extremely uncomfortable with creating a new updated mental model, like creating a new representation, forcing new information, right? Like that is, it actively avoids it, and it actively signals to you, right, through acetylcholine, through norepinephrine, through acetylcholine, and through cortisol, right? It actively signals to you that this is not something that we want to be doing, and that's how you push through it, because as long as you keep pushing through this feeling, right? And this is how it works in the brain. Like if you want to know like how it actually works, because again, the way I find comfort in learning, right, these difficult things is knowing that these are just biological mechanisms that occur in your brain, and we can actually utilize tools, i.e. behavior, i.e. responses to the stimuli, i.e. the stimuli that is telling us to not do it, by responding with attaching dopamine to errors, like I just did right now, right? Because I made a bunch of mistakes, right? But that is literally how we get better, right? That is literally how we get better. It's just we are essentially, through the stress and through the acetylcholine, it puts a spotlight. It puts a spotlight on the mistakes that you've been making, right? And then that spotlight, when you attach dopamine to it, you're telling your brain that, hey, this is a mistake that you're making, right? And this is something that needs to be rectified, rectified even perhaps, right? And that is literally just how we learn. Like I made a bunch of mistakes here because my brain, this background drawing is obstructing my ability to see the tilt clearly. But that is, of course, if I can tap my head on the camera, that is, of course, what I need to ignore, right? And again, my brain constantly wants to make the front plane like this angle. It constantly wants to make it this angle, and I have to constantly remind it like, no, it's this one, right? So those aren't even arrows. Those are just squiggles, I guess. I tried to make arrows, but yeah, like it's constant effort. But and that's, you're capable of that. I'm obviously gonna keep saying that, right? You're capable of that effort, right? You're capable, absolutely capable of that effort. And I'm just trying to visualize. And then you see like how my box starts here and then I fucking end up going here somehow, right? So you have to keep the stability consistent as well, right? And that is what I'm doing right now. And just for a second I held it. Just for a split second I held this, right? But I do think I have the angle. Like the front facing plane is a bit too much still, right? So like I need to, first of all, let me start with this box being here. And now I feel the warmth on my head. And now I feel the pit of discomfort in my stomach. And this is probably where output regression will occur soon, where my energy reserves have died out essentially in my brain because the prefrontal cortex is taking an enormous amount of energy, right? And I'm doing this while I'm narrating. Let it be known that I'm using two different parts of my brain, the parietal lobe and the prefrontal cortex, while I'm trying to actively do the more difficult part, which is the actual spatial reasoning itself. But to explain it is also a very difficult skill. Very, very difficult skill, right? Because just try talking while you're doing anything cognitively difficult. You're gonna fucking hate yourself, right? But I'm doing this for you, so you're welcome. Fucking give me money, right? Seriously though, you're welcome, you pieces of shits. Creating a one-of-one monolith over the course of decades, I better get a goddamn, at least $5, at least $5. But anyways, see, like, so I can't see the, okay, well I'm trying to see now the invisible XYZ axes, but again, I think this front plane, I'm not seeing it correctly. Yeah, I'm not seeing it correctly. It needs to be this angle. It needs to be much more in this. Again, it's this, right? It's this is what I believe it is. Like, this is literally the box, I think, right? Something like this. And then if we have a lot of convergence, right? Like so, that will allow us to have more depth in the back plane, which in turn will make the box look a lot more three-dimensional. There you go. See, that actually looks like a box in perspective decently well. But again, I'm trying to understand the like where the box is sitting on the on the guy's face in and of itself. It's fucking dickhead and difficult angle. But let me just start with one line, right? Let me just start with the line, because like we obviously must, because I'm going to be struggling with seeing through the form many times anyways, right? But we have to at least try to start, let me just try to see the box, and let me just try to see the diagonals, right? If I can at least try to visualize that, then I want to keep training my brain to at least start seeing that as the baseline for these boxes, right? Or like, for like initially, before I even, for the initial visualization, before I even put the mark down. So let's do that. And again, this drawing is an obstruction in the background, but I'm really, there you go, pit of discomfort's back, wonderful, this is exactly what I want. So let's start it here, like this is the bottom, right? And okay, like start it here actually. So this is the bottom, there you go. And again, I got the angle wrong. It's a good feeling, force myself to feel good, right? I got this angle wrong too, so force myself to feel good. And now, see, again, I started with the visible, so I should have started with the invisible, right? And now, see, and again, like the bottom plane went from here to up here, so that's wrong. And again, that pit of discomfort, it's fucking amazing feeling, right? This is how you just force yourself to feel good. But I'm trying to visualize, and I can't really visualize at all the box, right? But I'm trying to visualize the entire box. And now I'm trying to see the cross axes, the diagonal cross axes on every single visible plane. This drawing in the background definitely is a fucking, I'm gonna breathe really heavily again. But anyways, this drawing in the background is a huge obstruction. But this is how you force yourself to feel good. Right? This is literally how you force yourself to feel good. Right, so let's see. Again, one more time. Let me just try to visualize this. Again, I'm getting that headache now too, which is great. But let me try to, okay, let me try from the back, because I need to keep training myself to see from the back, right? So let me just try to, yeah, there you go. And then something like this, right? And okay, so that's the back, right? That back X, Y, Z, Y, X, Z, right? And now we have to connect it to the front, Y, X, Z. Okay, and I'm trying to hold that. I can barely see it, but I'm trying to hold it. I'm trying to connect all the missing lines, right? Like the completing lines. And now I'm trying to see the X, Y, and Z axes. sorry, I'm trying to see all the set diagonal, fuck, I'm trying to see all the diagonal cross axes, axes, what the fuck, axes is fucking the cross sections. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. Now we're gonna actually draw the damn box. See, 25 minutes. 25 minutes of what is supposedly nothing, but explicitly everything. Like, genuinely, this is where the skills are made, right? And again, I want to be very clear. The more complex the geometric volume, or organic volume, just the more complex spatial reasoning you're doing, the more time you will be spending on thinking, right? And I'm specifically building a schema. Let's not forget that. Like, I'm not just drawing a face. I'm doing like the fucking GPT, the way AI speaks, right? It's not this, it's that. But yeah, I'm not just drawing a face right now, right? I'm literally creating the geometric volume, right? The foundation on which the face will lie on, based on explicitly standardized methods, a la the Loomis method, right? Like, artwod does not ask you to do this currently. The Loomis method comes way down the line. No, not way down the line, but like at least like 4 or 5 lessons later. But personally, the realization I had was, I don't want to half-ass this, right? I don't want to just put a fucking intuitive box over a thing, over a face, and be like, ah, yes, I get it, right? I want my geometric, my volumetric, my fucking spatial reasoning foundation to be so strong, and to create a foundation, literally a schema, that is so mathematically sound to the best of my ability, because it's never going to be perfect, right? It's just never going to be perfect, but that's just so mathematically sound that when I do place features, this is what I see. Like when I start with the simple features and then the more complex features, right? Like the manipulated versions, like this is what I see. This is what it lies on, right? Like this right here, like this is what it's on, right? So any character designs I want to make, like any angles, everything, it will be easily referenced based on these existing angles, you know, these existing cross sections. Like they'll always just be there. So that's why I want to see this at the highest level of fidelity possible. That's literally the goal, right? And that's why I'll take hundreds of hours. But anyways, let me rest my brain, and I encourage you to do the same, right? It's a dreary ass day today, bro. It's like cloudy as shit. Painful. Anyways, okay, so obviously we're gonna start with, and I need to keep, because again, my face keeps putting the entire box over this guy's face, but it needs to, again, these are like active things I have to work on to be like, no, it's basically just around the bottom of his nose, right? And I also have to understand where the edges, right, the edge planes, like where is this plane and this plane ending compared to this guy's head, right? Like I know that, like, because I've done this consistently now, that the sphere, i.e. the side of his head, is something like this, like it's gonna end something like this, right? So I need to be aware of exactly where, I don't know why I keep saying where, but I need to be aware of where that plane is, right? And put the box accordingly in that. So, and like in terms of projecting it as a proper box that's in that volumetric space, right? Like, which is his head. So let's just start with this line, right? Let's start with this line. I'm going to start with this line, but I'm already thinking about the opposite. Like, I'm already thinking about the invisible plane, which is what I need, right? Like, the goal is to be able to think through the form as I'm drawing any line that indicates the form, right? Like, that is the goal. That is the absolute goal, is to be able to, I don't know why I said it like that, is to be able to, let me get a new pen, because this pen decided that I should suck my own dick. So after excessive slurping, I've come to realize that this is the pen that I want to use for the time being, right? So I need to be able to see through the form, basically. Fucking same shit I always say, right? And now I'm back to looking at the reference, right? And I keep putting this line, the edge of his line, at the edge of his eye, but that's incorrect. It's actually aligned with his with like the edge of his eyebrow almost, more than anything, because like if this is the front of the head, we have eyebrows here, like this is where the edge of the box roughly is, right? Like, and this is, I guess, where the fucking sphere is, you know, because that's the middle of the sphere. Obviously there's a very loose representation, but that, so in space, that is where it would be. And again, and this is just like, these are technically assumptions based on my own logic, right? But I'm trying to think as to where his, and again, while I'm doing this, I'm really trying to figure out the the volume, right? Like the seen through volume. But I'm pretty sure that we have something like this, right? Where this is the angle. So let's bring this closer, or let's connect this line. Let's make this line, right? And then I'm trying to understand. Oh shit, okay. So his face is actually more like, it's the angle is not this at all. It's actually more like this. It's more subtle. It's like this. See, that's a pretty big difference. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, actually. But I think it's more like this. Okay, so I've already kind of gotten this angle wrong, right? I ended up making a fucking right angle without even meaning to. But we have to understand and try to do the best that we can with what we have. So I don't know, I'm talking like this, but yeah, we need to do, just fucking, my brain is just fried, clearly, but, and while I'm looking at this, I'm really trying to analyze the opposite end, right, the opposite x, y, oh sorry, y, x, z, right, because we obviously need the volume to be, and this guy's eye angle is actually fucking me up. Is it this way? Let me see again. Something like this. So I've already gotten the angle pretty off, but it's this. I think it's literally this. So let's try this. And again, this is the difficult part. It's like when you're trying to essentially look at a reference and then create, essentially without obviously tracing over the reference, but you're trying to create the spatial understanding of that reference, right? So very difficult, very, very difficult. And again, while I'm doing this, I'm really trying to see through the form, and fuck it, might as well just start seeing the X, Y, and Z axis while we're at it, right? Might as well just start seeing the X, Y, and Z axes. I think this should be a little bit larger. There you go. Because again, it is, and I'm forcing myself while I draw this to see through the entire form, to see through the entire form, and to see the, not the X, Y, Z axis, I keep saying that, Jesus Christ, the diagonal cross sections, right? The diagonal cross sections on every visible and invisible plane. I don't know why I said plane like that, but the invisible plane, and this should give us a little bit more accuracy. It's obviously like you can only go by my word, right? You can't really see the reference that I'm drawing, but oh, it's a doozy, I'll tell you that much. Oh, it's a doozy, right? But again, try to get it to converge slightly. That's not that good, but, and again, while I'm doing this, I'm really trying to zoom out and visualize the entire perspective, right? Should have made this more of a, that's the point right there, should have made that much more clear, right? And that's good because this is exactly what I want in terms of the back plane. Like this is what's going to give it that depth that it deserves, right? Because this is much more depth now, right? Bless me, this is much more depth because it comes out this way. Yeah. So there you go. I'm really trying to visualize, or I'm really trying to visualize the, I'm not adding enough convergence, I'm aware of that, right? I'm really trying to visualize the seen through form, right? And I'm still trying to get it relatively accurate to the best of my ability in relation to the reference. But you see I fucked up this, like this is like a millimeter off. And it's parallel now, so that's wrong, right? Because it should be converging, because the bottom plane is converging, so this top one should have been converging. So my mistake was obviously not stopping this line appropriately, right, at the correct point. But now that I've got the box, right, I'm consistently forcing myself to see through the form. And this is great, because now, like, I can just tax the absolute living fuck out of my working memory, right? I can just tax the absolute riving fuck out of my working memory, right? And I'm already doing that by trying to see through the form, and now I'm trying to see every single diagonal. I'm zooming out and I'm trying to see every single diagonal on every visible and invisible plane, right? Visible and invisible plane, right? And I'm getting better at this, which is nice, right? This one, visible, 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 this one, visible. and then we go the back, right? I started with the back, I just didn't verbalize it, which is on me because I should be verbalizing everything. So I do apologize, right? You need to know exactly what I'm thinking. But basically this point, right, the point that holds all the three planes together on the invisible side, right, it's constantly shifting, but that's where I need to obviously keep reminding myself, and I'm actively forcing my brain to be aware of this convergence, right? This line going this way, this convergence, and then where it meets when it comes to this convergence, right? This line going this way, these lines. And it's like, where is that middle point? Same with here. Like, it's all the 3 points, but this one's pretty easy because it's just going straight up. So for me personally, this angle going straight up is easier than seeing this angle going this way and this line going this way, right? Everybody will have their own things that they find to be easier or harder to understand, internalize, build a representation of, calculate, etc., right? So this is just what it is like for me right now. And obviously, like, these boxes are okay. I think my boxes in general have been getting better, but overall they still have a lot of work in terms of just like geometric accuracy, convergence, and just being able to like make sure that they make sense, right? So, or make sure that they make sense in terms of like the back plane being wider than the front plane, right? So either way, right? And I keep doing that as an anchor, but overall I'm trying to visualize, and I lost all the diagonals, so let me like really lean in, try to get that pit of discomfort and the excess warmth in my forehead back, right? We want to absolutely deplete our astrocytic glycogen reserves, right? We want to tax our working memory to the fullest. So I'm trying to hold all of this, and now I'm going to just try to see every single diagonal that exists all at once, right? Every single diagonal that exists all at once while holding the seen through form. And it's happening. It is happening. It's not happening well, but I'm consistently, and again, like this, see, it's easy for me to calculate when I'm not thinking about all those things, but the second I was thinking about all those things, this back line, right, went that way. So now I need to like force it to come back to, I'll show you will come back. Anyways, so I needed to force it to come back and stay there while I visualize all of these things, right? And it's taxing my brain right now to just hold the invisible XYZ together, and then like just doing that is taxing my brain a lot. My eyes are getting warm, pit of discomfort's back, and now I need to really lean in, just absolutely lean in, and just visualize every single diagonal cross section. Yeah, diagonal cross section on every invisible and then visible plane, because I'm trying to do inside out, right? I'm trying to see what doesn't exist before seeing what does exist, because seeing what does exist is much easier to calculate upon than seeing what doesn't exist. But it's based on what doesn't exist, right? It's based on what does exist to be able to calculate what. Fuck it, I can't. I'm not even gonna try to explain this. It's gonna go over your heads, right? Like, the point is, I'm trying to calculate everything. And what I was trying to explain is just how it makes sense to me, but it's not going to be verbalized in a way that's going to be helpful. So I'm just not even going to try. Just know that, like, for me, or just not for me, sorry, objectively, doing the thing that's hard, which is visualizing the side that doesn't exist and understanding the volume of that, is objectively much more difficult, which is what lends way to making it easier to calculate anything that you can see and that does exist on the visible side of the planes or the form, right? And I can barely see the diagonals right now because my brain is just focusing all I can to hold the seen through form together. Now, okay, just for these last 10 seconds, I'm just gonna fucking really just try to calculate every single diagonal, every single fucking diagonal, and I'm like constantly oscillating. I'm losing every single one of them, but I'm constantly like bringing it back, and I'm just trying to calculate the absolute fuck out of them. That pit of discomfort's great. It's really fucking great, right? Let me try to do a little bit of ghosting, right? A little bit of ghosting. Okay, that diagonal, fuck. So that diagonal, this one right here, right? That makes complete sense to me. Yeah, there you go. That one versus this is kind of like, yeah, because it's tilted downwards, makes sense. This is a wider degree, so of course we go from here for this diagonal to here for this diagonal, right? Because this one is much more tilted than this one, right? I didn't draw those correctly, but let me rest my brain now. That was very difficult. And it's been 40 minutes. Look at that. 40 minutes. And all I've done is draw a box. But mentally, I've made hundreds and thousands of errors already. Maybe not thousands, but definitely hundreds of errors, right? And I've been just forcing myself to feel good. Just attaching dopamine to error. I can only keep saying the same thing multiple times. And I will for the rest of my life. So there you go. But I still haven't gotten to say what I wanted to say. But holy shit, let me rest my brain. And I encourage you to do the same. Alright, wonderful. Bro, my fucking room is so cold. I live in the basement and my radiator broke, so I'm fucking freezing. I had to wear 2 blankets last night to sleep, and I usually love sleeping in the cold. It was very hard. And so am I. Ha ha ha. Anyways, okay, so let me. Yeah, I'm just fucking cold right now, just as an aside. But let me, again. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep visualizing, and I'm gonna obviously let my ghosting be a bridge from the motor cortex to the prefrontal cortex, right? But I'm gonna keep visualizing. I'm gonna keep visualizing, and I'm gonna while I say what I want to finally fucking say for who knows how long now, right? I'm gonna keep visualizing the scene through form and all the diagonal cross sections on every visible and invisible plane. It's already very taxing just trying to do this while explaining what I'm trying to do. But let me try to talk about something completely unrelated while I try to do this, right? So I said earlier that as a framework, right, we must see reality more clearly. What does that mean? Seeing reality clearly means that you don't have, this is my definition, that we see reality clearly by not having any ascribed emotions or predetermined assumptions to it. We only see it as for what it is. So on the topic of skill acquisition, right, you must see reality clearly. So I define that as, what have I done? Like, what work have I put in? How much effort have I put in towards that work? As well as, like, where does that work take me? Like, what has it gotten me thus far, right? Right? I don't know why my nasally voice, right? But again, like, I'm really struggling to see the diagonals, but where has that work gotten me thus far? And the way I like to think about it, and I think this is just reality, this is my reality, is the fact that, and I would love for you to internalize this in a positive way, not a negative way, right? Because it's made me very pragmatic, very realistic, and just very calm, just very calm. And I've always been like this, like ever since I had this mentality, and I couldn't verbalize it before, but now I can verbalize it. So I've been like this for the past couple years, right? That's why I've been able to just stick to the things I want to, especially when it comes to learning, right? But I haven't been able to see this diagonal at all, so I need to really focus on that one as well, right? I need to focus on all of them, and I'm losing all of them all at once. But what I define that is, I do not deserve, and by the way, I'm only struggling to speak because I'm trying to fucking visualize all of this, but I'll say I, but you as well. We do not, we only deserve, we are only as good, and we only, okay, how do I say this? You only deserve the skill that you have worked towards, right? You are only as good as you deserve to be based on the things you have already done, right? So I only deserve to be as good in my spatial reasoning as I am right now, which is this extreme struggle that I'm going through, trying to see through the form and to visualize all the diagonals, right? And just for a second, I saw half of them, right? But I'm only as good because this is like chunked, this is individual information. Right now, my brain has not consolidated all these diagonals and the seen through form as one entire chunked piece. So I have to force myself to be like, no, you have to see everything all at once. You have to see everything all at once, right? For it to consolidate, right? And prune out the synapses when we sleep, and to consolidate and strengthen the myelin sheath, which in turn is essentially strengthening the connections that are beneficial towards learning this thing or to creating the schema, and pruning, right? Discontinuing essentially the connections that are not beneficial towards this, right? So that's why you have to recognize the errors. That's why you attach dopamine to errors, because you're putting a spotlight. Acetylcholine puts the spotlight, but the dopamine reward that you attach to that spotlight is what allows it to be signaled, to be fixed upon. That's my layman's understanding. That's my gay man's understanding. I've said that joke like 50 times now, right? I ran into the ground. First time I said it was my 500 sub Q&A. For those of you interested in the lore, go check it out, right? Probably make you cringe. Made myself cringe. I was so fucking caffeinated that day, bro. I was like, oh, whoopty doopty doopty, I'm Biggie, let me suck your dick. But anyways, I want to try to say that another way. Not the suck your dick part, that I stand by, but let me say the deserve thing, the skill thing. So let me talk about myself, right? Because I feel as if like I say it better when I only talk about myself. But I don't deserve to be as good or bad as the work I put in, right? So like, there's no like I should be this good, right? There's only I am this level of skill based on the work that I've put in, right? It's as simple as that. And if the work that you put in, the level of skill that you're at is appropriate, and you have understood that like, hey, this makes sense, and I like this level of skill that I have that has led me to this point, then you continue, right? Then you continue. You must understand the value of the work that you're doing. But if it has not given you the supposed results that you were fiending after, right? Or pining after, or really, really, really wanting, right? Then you must see reality clearly, which is, have I been putting the correct type of work with as much effort as I could, and have had an understanding that the work that I put in and the effort that I put in is simply, like, the result is simply a reflect of that work and effort, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you are no more and no less than the effort you've put in, what type of effort you put in, and where you put it, and for how long. I know for 5 hours a day, 5 hours a day, Jesus Christ, no, for 5 days a week, 1 hour a day, roughly for the past 3 years, I've been drawing. I understand that I have essentially been putting all my stats into spatial reasoning and the fundamentals, right? And line formation perspective, right? I understand that I'm playing a 40-year game. I've extended the time horizon, 80-year game, a lifetime game, right? I understand all of that. And therefore, when I look at my level of skill, right, when I look at this and say this piece took me 7 hours, roughly, right, and I still have to finish the city or whatever, that I only, like, that is just an appropriate, that is just reflection of my efforts, right? That is where it has gotten me. And there's no feeling about it apart from, okay, so I like where this is going. I'm clearly understanding things better, right? And I'm constantly losing the diagonals, by the way. I'm fucking trying so hard to speak and talk at the same time, but let me really try to lean in for a second. But like, all I'm trying to say is like, I'm just completely, you just have to remove yourself from where you think you should be and look at where you are based on what you've done, right? And if what you've done has gotten you to a place where you are, where remove all emotions, and you're like, you know what, this makes sense, and I am getting better, right? And I do understand things more, then you continue, right? And you continue to try to figure out how to make yourself understand things more and get better, etc. But if you're in a place where you think you should have been better than you already are, right? You have to ask, did I put in the work to get there? Did I put in the right type of work to get there? Did I put the right amount of work to get there? If no, throw your ego in the absolute fucking trash, right? Throw it in the garbage and remove yourself from that expectation, right? Again, the only expectation is to try, but if you have an expectation that you should be this good and you aren't, then you must see reality clearly and understand that that's because you simply have not put the amount, type, or duration of effort that requires you to be at the place where you believe you should have been but aren't. It's as simple as that, right? And that should not be something where you bemoan or you degrade or you diminish your efforts, but simply an opportunity for you to re-understand or reinforce your current understanding and calibrate accordingly, whether that's to continue on that path because you are like, that makes sense, i.e. in my case, or you take not a pause, but you look at that path and like, all right, realistically, what needs to be done, right? What efforts and what type of efforts and what duration of efforts need to exist for my next expectation, if I were to have one, to be more accurately aligned with the reality of the work that I put in. It's as simple as that. I don't know, my voice cracked at the end. That's part of the bit. But anyways, okay, let me rest my brain. Holy shit! Oh, it's already been 50 fucking minutes, and I've barely been able to see the goddamn diagonals. Okay, we gotta. I've been making so many mistakes. That's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. Now we have to bring the center lines in because that shit is fucking difficult. So center planes that are fixed to those diagonal cross sections, cross axes, whatever the fuck, on every single plane. Let me rest my brain and encourage you to do so as well. But that's basically what I want to say. I have nothing else to say on that, right? Like, I think I've said it as clearly as I could, right? And you are capable of the effort. Yet again, I want to be very clear. You're capable of all the effort that it requires, right? But anyways, let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. Basically, TLDR, don't be a fucking pussy, alright? Don't be a prideful pussy, more than anything. Because you're prideful because you're like, ah, yes, I can, like, I will, and I'm totally, like, I have those skills. And then you're a pussy because when you realize you don't, you fucking slink back into the corner, right? Just like me, back in the day when I first tried learning 4 years ago, or 6 years ago now in COVID, right? 2020 and then 2021 again, and I failed both times, and I didn't last more than a week the first time and then a month the second time. Why? Because pride. I should be this good. I should not have to draw things that are difficult and simple, right? Did I say boring? No, because it's not fucking boring. If it was boring, you'd be able to do it 100 times, all right? But anyways, okay, I'm just gonna try to hold everything, the diagonals, right? Try to hold everything in my brain, and I need to really be in extreme discomfort, right? So I'm trying to hold everything, all the diagonals, the invisible lines, invisible seen through planes, and now we bring the center planes in, right? Bring the center planes in. And I'm doing it from the visible side, so I need to do it from the invisible side, right? But bring the center planes in, hold the diagonals. My body tenses up when I fucking go to this extent of spatial reasoning, but makes sense. It's a physical sensation, and the brain is crying, being like, please don't do this. But you're like, shut the fuck up, I'm doing it, bro, I'm doing it. But anyways, right? This is this one, that's projected out from here, right? So this center plane, right? And then we have this center plane, right around there. And then we have, so I've got those two, roughly. And my brain is already like dying, trying to keep all that in mind, with even with all the diagonals. And then we got this center plane. There you go. This one. Right, so something like this. And then this over here. And then we come out. And then there you go. There's the center. Okay, so now that I got that, let's try to hold that to the best of our ability. Right, keep trying to hold these diagonals, the diagonals in place. Right, try to really hold them in. Yeah, my body's tensing up, and I really need to like lean into that pit of discomfort in my stomach, right? There you go, it's back, there you go. So we just need it to be an extreme discomfort, right? Obviously, I'm trying to slow down the ghosting as well, but there you go. I think this, there you go. That's much better. Okay, so this is this the point? That is the point, actually. So that's actually where it is. Right, there you go. And that's just me trying to see through the form. You can see I've already lost everything else. Oh my god, okay, lean into this feeling, Viggy. Lean into this. Okay, and then I almost said my name again, but you should honestly, like, it's not that hard to figure out my name if you really give a fuck about me, but you probably don't, thank goodness. But, let's see. And again, like, this point is way too high up, right? So it needs to be down here. And again, feel good about that, course correct that, right? But now I'm trying to hold it, trying to see every single diagonal, right? Every single diagonal. And again, this is like a solidified schema. I'm trying to build all the diagonals, right? All at once. And I do see it relatively clearly. And now I'm trying to add the center planes, right? Trying to add the center planes. And again, like, oh, immediately, my fucking vision just went blurry there, Jesus Christ. But this horizontal center plane is really fucking with me, right? But try to add all of them, because this is extremely difficult to visualize this 3 center plane like schema, right? Like, that's like this or whatever the fuck. I drew obviously the horizontal one completely wrong, but it's extremely difficult, very, very difficult, right? And I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, it's just extremely difficult. But anyways, like, I looked away for a second because I was looking at the portrait reference. But anyways, yeah, brain's making a lot of mistakes. Again, this back angle is supposed to be like this, right? And then stopping right around here for the scene through form. My brain's like, whoop, it's going this way. Oh, this one's going that way. It's so wrong. But this is obviously, like, again, I gotta lean into this, and I gotta just keep taxing my brain, and keep forcing it to see the center planes to the best of my ability. Like, just keep forcing it, and I'm calculating it too. Like, I'm just forcing it to see something that it is basically like the end. Like, think about it, the fucking GPU is like sputtering, right? It's like, don't, please, don't do this. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, right? Again, like, the best analogy I can give you is like when you're taxing your working memory. It's the equivalent of you basically trying to run, let's say like you're trying to render a 4K video file while having 100 tabs open and also playing a 4K video game in the background, and you have one CPU and like a fucking mid-tier GPU trying to run it and like 2 gigs of RAM. That's basically what it is happening to your brain, right? I'm attempting to create a spatial reasoning engine. I'm literally creating a 3D simulation in my mind, right? That is exactly what I'm creating, is I'm creating a 3D simulation in my mind, right? And again, let me calculate this diagonal. Right, there you go. I'm creating a 3D simulation in my mind that is essentially, you know, to the best of my ability, forcing my brain to understand geometric volume, right? Like, that is what I'm doing. You know, that is literally what I'm doing. And of course, that is going to be it. And because the brain it's malleable, but it's also very finite in its resources, right? So it's going to be malleable in the long term, hundreds and hundreds of hours. And for me, I think to like officially like visualize this properly and spatially calculate it, like consolidate it into one schema, one chunked piece of information that I can visualize like a solid form with all this fuckery, about like, let's say like a solid 60% visualization, which is probably the max, or 60, 70 maybe, right? I have to be objective and be like, okay, so it's malleable over the long term, and I define long term as, let's say, 18 months, right? So another year and a half, right? And then it's finite in the short term, as in like the resources that I'm using to calculate this is finite, right? Which is where these gap effects come into play, because that's replenishes them. During those 20-second breaks, your brain replenishes that, right? So I'm gonna really lean into this. I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm gonna really fucking lean into this. So trying to see the invisible planes, right? Trying to see the invisible cross section, or the invisible XYZ axis. Trying to see the visible and invisible. Okay, the pit of discomfort's back. The invisible diagonals, right? I'm really getting it wrong, and then trying to see the center planes. Trying to see really the center planes all at once, and I'm trying to calculate them all at once, and my brain's dying because it can't. But I'm really trying to I'm fucking genuinely trying so hard to calculate them and get that 3-plane intersection solidified. But it can't. It can't. It can only do them one at a time while trying to hold all these things together. Oof. That was very difficult. Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. It's been 55 minutes, GG. And now we're gonna try to put the ellipses in there, which is gonna be essentially near impossible. But for the time being, right? Near impossible for the time being. I can't do it yet. Always, 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 always. Right? So let's rest our brains. Rest our brains. All right. Okay, we have returned after thinking about hopefully nothing, TBH. But yeah, okay, so again, I'm looking at this. I'm immediately trying to get all the diagonals back, right? Seeing through the form, everything, trying to get all the diagonals properly, like in place, right? Trying to see the center plane, right? Genuinely trying to see the center plane. My brain's really struggling with seeing this top line of the center plane because it should be going all the way here, right? It should be starting here because if this is my diagonal, right? That means it should be starting here, going all the way here. But it's having trouble, a lot of trouble, stop having it go here. It keeps making a diagonal go that way and stop there. So I need to actively be like, no, that's wrong. And now I've actually been able to fix it, right? But again, trying to see the 3 center planes, really trying to visualize everything and trying to see the 3 center planes, right? Damn, even just seeing this one center plane is like my brain's like fucking. It's literally, this is the box that it's seeing. Like this is the center plane, right? This is, let's just say this is what it's supposed to be. Like this is what it's supposed to be seeing projected in the center there. This is what my brain is actively seeing. That's what it's seeing. That's what it's seeing on this scale. So it's normal. It's normal when you're trying to tax your working memory and you're trying to hold as much spatial understanding as you can, that something will give. And in many cases, many things will give. And this is the feeling that you want to lean into, like just to constantly try to correct it. And to, like, I'm already feeling that pit in my stomach, right? That discomfort. And this is a physical representation of the effort that I'm putting in as well, right? And it's the physical representation of the effort that you're putting in as well. By the way, I want to be very clear. Not everybody has a pit of discomfort. You know, I don't know if everybody does, but the point is, you probably feel discomfort in some sensation or another. You must simply lean into it, and leaning into it is just constantly being aware and trying to fix the things like that you're trying to do, right? Like if you're probably spatial reasoning, I'm gonna assume, or like whatever fucking fundamental you're working on, right? Is just leaning into that for as long as you can, at least like another couple minutes, right? If not more. And just really trying to calculate and hold on to everything that you're trying to do, right? And I can't even explain this properly anymore because, yeah, my speech patterns are getting worse because of all the energy that my brain's purely allocating towards narrating, towards narrating, parietal lobe, the spatial reasoning, prefrontal cortex, right? So, like, again, 2 things that are odds and are constantly vying for resources, and I have to just force myself to be able to do both at the same time. But I'm trying to calculate this plane now, right? This side one. And my brain is seeing this, right? Like completely wrong. Like this angle is all wrong. This is going down. Like it's constantly. And again, I've lost the diagonals as well. And now with this fuckery, I'm gonna have to try to put the ellipses inside of it, right? So again, start from the visible side. That's wrong. Okay, so that pit of discomfort is definitely there, and it's staying there. See, so I have to really, just really, really, really be okay with this feeling, you know, while trying to visualize and hold this center line and the center plane. Oh my god, that is so uncomfortable. Holy shit. It's literally a pit while I'm trying to hold and visualize the center plane with all the diagonals and the seen through forms. And whew, okay, let's try. Okay, so I did that plane. I didn't do it correctly, but let's try to do the other one now, right? Let's do this right here. And my brain is definitely in output regression right now because I can't even calculate this properly. Right, and again, you can see my ellipses, even the way I'm ghosting it is incorrect, right? But I'm really trying to see it to the best of my ability, right? really trying to calculate it, and it's extremely difficult. Holy shit. So yeah, there you go. That's a bit better. Something like this, right? And then now we have the horizontal one. Holy shit, bro. And this is just me trying to do it one at a time. This isn't even me trying to do all three at once, right? And now the horizontal one, let's see, it starts around there, right? And this is gonna be like much more narrow. Let's go. So that, and then we have this one, which is somewhere like this. What about the side one? Side one's like here. So this is my sphere, right? Like right around here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's like right around here. This is my sphere. Okay, now with that in mind, I have to draw, because it's been an hour. I have to hold all that in mind, right? So I have to hold everything now. I have to literally try to hold everything all at once, right? Like the seen through form, the diagonals, right? This diagonal, this one back here, this one in the bottom, this one in the front, right? All of them, all 6 planes, visible and invisible, the diagonals, cross sections, cross axes, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in that. And then the center planes, try to hold that to the best of my ability. And then, like, I can barely do that, by the way, right? And then, because this is like the first fucking landmark, the roadblock, the mountain I have to climb, is just being able to visualize this. Just this. And it's not just, but yeah, just this. Because there's already the ellipses. So let me try to do that again, because obviously I looked there, so it took me out of my visualization and calculation. But yeah, pit of discomfort there. Fucking eyes are warm as shit. Forehead is warm as shit. I'm just trying to lean into that as much as possible. And again, feel good, right? Force myself to feel good about all these mistakes that I'm making, and just try to think about the ellipses and where they connect, which is so fucking difficult. But let's just say for now, I think this is where this horizontal, oof, yeah, I'm feeling that warmth in my head already. So that is my eyebrow line, right? And let's see, we got something like, and now this is the even more difficult part where I have to essentially, yeah, I have to essentially draw forms on top of this visualization, right? Do you see why I say this is gonna take me fucking hundreds of hours? Like, I hope it's understood now why I said that. I don't know, my voice did that, but, and like, these are always gonna be wrong. For the time being, the forms that I'm drawing are always gonna be wrong, because my brain is so taxed with just trying to see this geometric volume, right? So, and again, that's the bottom, so that makes sense, right? Like, this is the bottom of the sphere, so it makes sense to me that the nose is roughly like, because what? We have to think about the Loomis proportions, right? If this is the sphere, so it's like 1, forehead, 2, 3, right? It's like this. Like, this is basically what is like 1, 2, 3. It's like that. So there's always a little bit of the nose that's left over, right? So that makes sense. Or a little bit underneath the nose that's left over. It's basically like you're dividing to 1, 2, 3, 4, but 3 lines in the middle are spaced evenly, right? Is my understanding. I could be wrong. Again, I will always have a more updated understanding once my brain has the fucking energy to think about that understanding, right? To actually like to actively think about if that makes sense. Once I have internalized pre-existing calculations or schemas. And I really don't know which pen is the working pen anymore. I think it's this one. Right, let's see. Yeah, it is definitely this one. There you go. The nose, the stick has a nose. And again, like, I need to take a step back and be like, okay, recalculate, just see through the form, see the geometric volumes, really try to see everything, right? Because Lord knows. This guy has a fucking beard, that's gonna be annoying. Let me just draw his lips for the time being. It's like down here. Let's see. Let me look at his lips. Okay, so it's like this. There you go. That's the lip. Comes down over here. Because I also have to think about proportion. I do want to get proportion relatively accurate. Right. There you go. and then this bottom lip juts out. While I'm doing this, I'm failing miserably, by the way. Like, I can barely say, but I'm trying so hard to zoom out and think about the geometric volume, but I can't. Like, I'm focusing so much on just this damn dickhead's planes. There you go. Happy, bro? You have a mustache. You fucking happy? You ruined my goddamn life with your mustache. There you go. There you go. Fucking dickhead. Anyways, let's see. Okay, so let me try to, again, think about the center planes. I'm trying to take a step back and just be like, okay, yeah, it may be true that I'm struggling a lot just to think about the form of this person's face inside the, like, with the schema involved, right? Everything I'm thinking about. But that does not mean that suddenly I cannot just try, right? I fucked that line up. You're not even supposed to see that in the reference, but that does not mean I can't try to, like, think about anything else. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but just kill me. Oh, see, that's supposed to be his eye, so that's a fuck up on my end. Right, that right side, this side over here is supposed to be his eye, but I couldn't tell that. And then let's see, chin. I'm not gonna draw his fucking beard. Fuck this. Let's see, and then where's his ear, right? Okay, so now I have to think about the ellipses, right? The center ellipse, so this one, roughly, and then this one, roughly, right? And then this one, roughly. Okay, so it's right around here is his ear, right? Let's see, let me calculate that. Thankfully, I actually did see the ear pretty, the ellipses there pretty decently. Like, I'm starting to get an inkling of what that should be like, right? And then this guy's jaw is, he actually has a bit of a neck beard, but let's see. And again, this angle I don't think is perfect either that I got, right? But like this is part of that chin, and then it kind of comes down here. There you go. That's pretty wrong. So, I don't know. I'm struggling. I am definitely struggling. There you go. Something like that. Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, and then there's the neck. Okay, cool, whatever. This is, right? So there's that. So, but I do think his face is actually positioned pretty well inside the box. Like, it is positioned decently well inside the box. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's actually not that bad. Like, I don't really have anything else to say apart from that, because I don't have the knowledge nor the skill to think about it actively, because everything, again, is based on me just seeing the spatial reasoning, right? But I'm really trying to, like, even while I do this right now, try to think about the ellipses, right? Because I think I got it decently. I don't think I got it well, but decent is still a standard that I have to at least be relatively... I mean, I just have to be okay with it, because decent is decent, right? Like, can't do anything about that. And again, I still don't think my boxes are that good when it comes to seeing through them, right? And getting the perspective down, but because I feel as if this should have been much wider. Well, again, like, I feel like it should have been wider, but it wasn't because I didn't converge it enough, right? So therefore, like, actually, no, it's decently wider. Like, yeah, this is pretty narrow, this wide, this is narrow, this is wide, this is... The only weird thing is this is wider than this, which is just odd, but... I'm bad. Well, that's because I converged this, but I didn't converge this, actually. If I converged this a bit more, probably. There's a few things that I can't really understand right now. But either way, right, we start by drawing the diagonals on the invisible sides. And my motor skills are pretty fucking shit. There you go, that was okay. And again, this is what I'm trying to visualize. This is what I constantly calculate in my mind, and I fail hundreds of times to do so. But it's the failures of hundreds, thousands of times trying to do it that is going to make me able to see this like nothing, probably like a year from now, right? Let's just say a year and a half, right? It feels like it does feel like I'm going to be here forever, but that's just because it is extremely difficult. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? Like, I'm going to be here forever because I'm doing something that's really, 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 really fucking hard, right? So obviously it's going to feel like I'm going to be here forever, but reality is often disappointing. Is that an Avengers reference? Right, reality is often disappointing. I don't know what that's from, but let's see. Anyways, let's get these diagonals and these calculations as well as we can, right? This is just the first step, right? Or the first two steps, which is see through the form, see the diagonals. Already very difficult. This is basically the same. And there you go. That is the first step, right? Oh shit, it's already been an hour and 10 minutes, goddamn. And then we have the fucking... What the fuck am I saying? We have... What are these lines? I don't even know what half these lines are anymore. Oh wait, no. We have... Let's see, that's this to this. This to this? Okay, we have this. So we have the center planes. This is the next step, right? Trying to see the center planes. Where the fuck is the... Oh, it's this one. Trust me, like, I feel like I see it better when I swear, I 100% feel as if I see it better when I'm seeing it in my mind. Like, I understand it better. Why? Because obviously it's not this fuckery. Bruh. Like, this just puts... For me, it's just putting it into context. God damn it. Like, that's a lot of shit I'm trying to think about. For some reason, it's just easier to do it in my mind. Like, easier... No, I mean, it's not easier to do in my mind. It's just easier to not have to... like, I basically am not seeing this intense fuckery, right? Like, I'm not seeing such a... almost confusing... like, cross-section shit. Yeah, that made sense. Anyways. There you go, and then this center plane, this vertical one, right? Okay, yeah, that's the right one. Jesus, can't tell. Let's see, and then that line was a bit fucking wrong, and by a bit fucking wrong, I mean literally very fucking wrong, but either way. And then this, is this the, yeah, that's the one. Right? Okay, so I fucked that one up too. So that line was supposed to be, yeah, I did fuck that line up. It's supposed to be way more out there. So there you go, those two center planes. Holy shit. I know there's something has to be wrong with my boxes. I feel as if there's definitely like, I think it's the convergences. The depth is okay. I think the depth is okay, but you can never know until you know. Very deep, very deep. But I think this is the center. I don't even fucking know anymore, bro. This is guesswork just because my brain is just telling me to suck a dick. Where the fuck am I? Where am I? Who am I? What the fuck is going on? Oh no, it's this way. Thank goodness. Okay, I got some semblance of a... Dude, I literally lost it for a sec. I was like, where the fuck is this box? Where, like, literally, where is this box? There you go. Now again, I fucked that line up and that diagonal up too. There's a lot of, like, obviously the line work needs work, but then we do this. We do this is like, so you can see how this already fucks my brain, right? And then we have to do this. Just try to get the ellipses. So let's do this front ellipse, right? So let's, I think it's something like, and again, I'm gonna purposefully just try to be as, like, I'm gonna take my time because I want it to be decent. That's an okay ellipse. And then this one is a lot wider, right? So it's something like, see, like, I fucked it up at the bottom there. Something like that, and then the horizontal one, right, which is obviously, like, this is gonna be ass, but okay. And then my circle, my good old sphere that encompasses these. So I think maybe I did displace it, or placed it correctly. It is a bit displaced. The face, bars. I don't even know why I end up rhyming these, all by accident, but see, like, and I obviously need to make my the curves of this a lot better. There you go. It's just something like this. Right, there's my sphere. Should have made it a lot better here, but okay. Still not perfect, but basically that is the gist, that is the idea, right? Is the fact that you have ellipses. Obviously, I think my ellipses need work, but I think this all stems from the fact that my box probably needs work. But it's okay. I think it's relatively okay, right? But yeah, anyways, my brain is fucking dead, man. It's absolutely dead. But yeah, an hour and 15 minutes to stress. Okay, everybody, what do I usually say? Yeah, as always, I hope you tried a lot. Hope you put a lot of effort in. And yeah, great session. I'm just, again, I always just end up getting very, very tired at the end of these sessions, like mentally fatigued, which is why rest your brain for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minimum, no stimulation, just rest it. You know, your brain will consolidate and organize and play this and try to figure it out. Backwards, forwards, all that shit. But basically, just search up the spacing effect, but do it after you rest your brain. So it's good for you. It's very, very good for you. This is literally, if you want to be, if you're average to below average like me, you have to fucking be autistic about min-maxing these little efficiencies, right? Like gap effects during the practice, spacing effect after the practice, right? Exerting energy and like constantly being aware of the attaching dopamine to errors and all that shit. But that's just someone who knows how to learn well. Like, I think objectively speaking, that's just somebody who knows how to learn well, learn efficiently, learn fast, and learn effectively, right? So good on you. Let's keep fucking trying. And with that being said, right, as always, fuck you for watching. Center it. Fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money.